Happy
Um,
New Year.
New Year, same team.
Yeah. Not New Year, new Panthers.
New Year, same old.
Same old
ish.
Same old Panthers, same old Hornets. Not the same old Hurricanes. 10 wins in a row, franchise record.
That is in jeopardy right now. They're currently losing to the Devils right now.
Oh, no.
They're down 1 right now.
Okay.
Still got time.
Yeah, they still got time.
Still got time.
I think the league record is 17.
Yeah.
And
Hurricanes are rolling.
They're always rolling.
Yeah.
They're always good.
However, back here in Charlotte,
I wish a hurricane would come through and blow these fucking teams off. Blow these damn teams off the map.
Hurricane need to go right through downtown Charlotte.
Yes,
please. Right
now.
Just end it all for us. Man, I'm tired, man.
You know what? I'm not really that mad at the Panthers.
No, I'm not.
Because we did pick them
to lose
today.
And we even said why they would lose today. And it happened.
It happened.
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
Maybe it's our fault.
Did Tom Brady things? No. No.
Not quite.
My name is not Al Holcomb, and neither is yours. So the Carolina Panthers end up losing a heartbreaker to the Tampa Bay Bucks 24 to 30, which was very close to your prediction. Didn't you say 28-24?
Yep.
In a game in which they kind of dominated up until the last 45 seconds of the first half.
Pretty much, man.
And then the game became even after that, even though they went into the half with a 4-point lead, 14-10. Tampa realized that J.C. Horn wasn't playing.
And the light bulb went off.
They were like, oh, wait, hold on.
Time out. Wait. What are we doing trying to do anything else but go at that guy?
Yeah. Hey, where's Mike Evans? He down there somewhere.
28. Where's 28 at?
Yeah. 3 plays of 50-plus yards to Mike Evans from Tom Brady for touchdowns. And that was the story of the game. Even if the Panthers had been completely mistake-free, which they were not, we'll get to that in a second, it would have been hard to overcome that.
Mike Evans, 10 catches, 207 yards, 3 touchdowns.
That's ridiculous. And that was with Keith. First they had Keith Taylor on him, which was a super mistake. Once Tom Brady saw that, he was like, yeah, come on. So they scored then. And then they switched to C.J. Henderson being on him. Even in zone coverage, they had him swap to whatever side of the field Mike Evans was on.
Right.
C.J. Henderson makes a misplay in which he looked behind him for a second and stopped running.
You're being so nice about that.
Stopped running.
Misplay. What the hell were you thinking about, CJ? Those NFL players are taught. You don't stop.
You don't stop. I think what he was doing was because cornerbacks do this. They'll look back, and if the quarterback throws,
right,
then they'll make their move. Okay. But in him looking back, it cost him because he had to slow down just a little bit. And the protection, Tom Brady's protection, even though he got sacked, 3 times?
3 times.
Was still phenomenal when it needed
they needed to be, right.
And that play was phenomenal.
But the thing is, man, I think he kind of let Mike Evans fake him out a little bit because you got on that replay, you got to notice what Mike Evans was doing as well. Mike Evans was doing like some funky little skip, not really running the route, but kind of it's hard to describe. Yeah. And I think he got kind of faked out by
Let's be clear. Mike Evans is a future Hall of Famer. He's that
guy.
I mean, if you look at
one of the most consistent receivers in the last 10 years.
He's probably the best receiver Tampa has ever had in their history.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's like their Steve Smith.
Right.
He's like their Julio Jones. Okay. And he really hasn't had that much of a fall off this season. It's just been some miscues with Tom Brady,
right.
But he's Mike Evans. And even C.J. Henderson, the Jacksonville version, would have had problems with Mike Evans. But, having said that.
However, you know the worst part about this? The worst part, okay, so no playoffs for the 6th straight year. That's obvious, okay? We have to hear the media with Tom Brady's name in their mouth all week. And oh my God, Tom Brady and Mike Evans finally found each other this week. Oh, the magic is – shut up. You face Keith Taylor and C.J. Henderson. Stop it.
You know what?
I want to hear that.
I thought about that, but it won't matter much because as it stands right now, Tampa will host a home game.
And they will get beat. And I'm sorry if I sound bitter and hate, whatever.
It's going to be either against Dallas or Philly.
It's going to be somebody with a real secondary.
Yeah, and there's no way Tampa beats Dallas or Philly unless Jalen Hurts is not 100%. If he doesn't, which he will come back and play.
Right.
And that's if did Philly win today?
They actually lost to the Saints today.
Okay, so Philly has to win in week 17 and Dallas has to lose for them to retain the number 1 seed and get the bye.
Right.
If anything else happens, then Dallas will win the division and Philly will be the wild card team and probably will play in Tampa week 1, but even then, I don't see them losing to Tampa.
They're not going.
So I'm not that worried about it. I mean, this was the expected outcome from the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Tampa would win the division.
But they got our hopes up again. Again. From week to week, we 1 week we're saying, they're dead. We're talking about who we want as a quarterback. We're talking about draft picks. Then they go out and beat the Seahawks. And it's like, oh, man, here we go. Playoffs are coming, and Pittsburgh punks us. It's like, oh no, we're back. It's this roller coaster ride, man. It's I don't know what traumatizing.
We said it last week that the crowning of the Panthers was far too premature.
Absolutely,
far too.
Absolutely.
It was too big of a hill to climb, too big of a mountain to climb to expect them to beat Tom Brady in Tampa. First of all, if that was a home game, I think the Panthers would have won. And if J.C. Horn had played, I think the Panthers would have won. Because I'll say this. They had a great game plan going into it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They knew that they could not run for 321 yards.
They knew Tampa Bay was going to take that away.
Yeah, Tampa was going to be like, you're not doing that against us. So they came out and they let Sam Darnold cook.
Yep.
And cook he did.
Yeah. Other than, one miscue or a couple.
Yeah, he had 2 credited turnovers. The first one wasn't his fault.
Right.
I don't think people will say, well, he wasn't paying attention, but the center just doesn't snap the ball when he feels like it.
He's waiting for a count.
Right.
He's waiting for a command.
And I think that they were, we see this with offensive linemen all the time. They're so worried about getting beat off the snap, especially the center, because you have to snap the ball and then block.
Right.
And I think the center just
panicked.
Yeah.
Hey, look, man, not making excuses for him, but you got Vita Vea sitting in front of
exactly. And plus, like we showed on the broadcast, they have been double teaming Vita Vea all game. And so he's got to be ready to get that double team off. He's got to snap. He's got to do a lot.
That's a lot asking anybody to cover that dude one-on-one, man.
So he made a misplay there, and we turned the ball
off. I will say this, though. Man. There were too many times in this game, for my liking, where I felt like the Panthers lost focus. That was one of the plays. That was one of the plays you just...
Road game. I said this in the chat. Road game stuff.
I
mean, the crowd's loud. It's tough playing in Tampa. I mean, it is. Plus, it was a high-stakes game. This is your season right here.
Right.
There were times they lost focus, but I think that was because the coaching staff stopped being aggressive. When they chose not to go for it on 4th and 1,
right
after you get a turnover,
right.
I feel like if you get a turnover, you gotta score. And to be in that position, I know that if they had not gotten it, Tom Brady would have had a short field. But I feel like 4th and 1, you trying to tell me you can't get 1 yard?
Especially when you've had success running the ball up until that point,
right? And it's not like so you're worried about Tom Brady getting a short field, but I don't want to give him back the ball at all.
At all, right? He proved it didn't matter.
Exactly.
It didn't matter whether he was 80 yards away or 50 yards away. So
so I felt like they should have gone for it on that 4th down. It ended up not biting them because Tampa didn't score on the next drive. But even on the drive after that, they were very passive. I felt like the Panthers were passive all game.
I saw shades of Ron Rivera.
Yeah, and the Panthers coming into this game were number 6 in the league in blitz percentage. How many blitzes did you see this game?
Because I'm not crazy. I recall 3 all game, dude.
I'm wondering if I missed something.
I'm so glad you brought that up, man. So, because here's the conversation I really wanted to have today, man. All right, you are Tyrone Holcomb, okay? You know we have this huge deficiency in the secondary today, right? So, okay, you might say to yourself, well, man, I don't really want to blitz because it is Tom Brady. Tom Brady can read and pick up a blitz better than damn near any quarterback ever, okay? Mm-hmm. So I understand that concern. However, we saw proof today that Tom Brady was comfortable and there wasn't any safety help. So if you're not bringing the blitz, where was the safety all game?
Where was the safety?
Because there was no safety help on Evans all game.
I would rather have my guys on an island with Godwin
than
Evans. I don't get that.
And plus, this sounds cynical to say, but if your DBs are getting blazed all game anyway, you might as well take your chances and put some heat in Brady's face.
And when they did, it worked.
It worked.
They are. If there's any fault with the coaching staff, with Wilkes' staff, they tend to have too much faith in next man up.
Yeah,
a concept which I always totally feel agree. Like is dumb in sports. We hear that all the time. Hey man,
next man up. Hey, do your job.
Another ball hurt his wrist, but hey, next man up. No, there is no, not next man up. He's gone, right?
Ain't no JC Horn.
Right, yeah, exactly. They had too much faith that hey, Sam can do what Cam can do. Why do coaches think?
Kaiser, stuff sounds better than reality sometimes, don't it?
But way too much faith in Keith Taylor Jr. and C.J. Henderson that they could cover.
Dude,
even J.C. Horn would have had a hard time with Mike Evans.
Kaiser, let me collect myself before I ask you this question because I don't understand this. If we're in a coaches meeting and I say, hey, Kaiser, man, I think we're gonna match Keith Taylor up on Mike Evans.
I'll be like, man, shut your ass down. I'll be like, in fact, go home.
Who thought that was a good idea?
But what it is Keith Taylor actually had a decent performance last week against the Lions, who are good offense, right?
Good
and so they felt like, after he had been terrible most of the season, I guess they felt like, okay, we're going to give this guy a shot. No, you don't give him a shot against Mike Evans in the biggest game of the season.
And Tom Brady. Don't leave that guy out.
Ty asks, was Josh Norman brought in for nothing?
So it seems like it.
Steve Wilkes did say earlier in the week during a press conference that Josh Norman was not in game shape.
Right.
His exact words.
Right. I understand that. Right. I really do.
And
honestly.
I wouldn't have expected them to line Josh Norman up across from Mike Evans on a go route. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
Although,
look, even in Josh Norman's prime, he wasn't the fastest guy on the field anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So he came. I saw him for one play in which he defended the Julio Jones, and so now I'm thinking, did y'all just bring him in to defend Julio Jones?
Right.
Because that's always been
the thing.
Right. Yeah. Julio Jones has never really had a good game against Josh Norman. Right. So it's like that's kind of, I don't know. I would have taken my chances on a 35-year-old post prime Josh Norman than Keith Taylor.
Sorry, I do it. I'm looking at the first 50-yarder that Evans caught, and correct me if I'm wrong, man, but I think that's a 3rd and long, that first touchdown. I'm no DB. I have never played professional football, but common sense would tell you if you're not bigger than the guy you're checking, you're not going to bump and run coverage.
Right.
Or not on the 3rd and long. You're going to kind of play off of him and kind of give him the underneath stuff, and you take away the over-the-top stuff. What does Keith Taylor do? He's bumping and running with Mike Evans, and Mike Evans runs right past him.
Just right past him. With no safety help.
With no safety help.
What's funny is the interception that Sam Darnold threw, which was kind of his fault. Great play call. Great read.
Right. Just bad throw.
Bad throw. He underthrew it, like Greg Olsen said in the broadcast. He had to put it into the end zone. I think Darnold was trying to put some touch on it. It didn't look like he really put his hips into it. Like he was like, okay, I'm just gonna kind of float it up there and I'm underthrowing it. But the biggest thing about that, safety help. There was a safety that came over because I think in one-on-one coverage, I think that the receiver, I don't remember who it was, would have been able to make a better play on the ball.
I think that was Thomas. I think that was actually
Maybe
Ian Thomas, man.
But because there's a safety there, he's got essentially now the receiver is the defender against two receivers, a safety and a cornerback, and they get the pick. Tampa was not going to let that. So I just don't understand.
I don't get it, bro.
Why you let Mike Evans
because listen, you're not going to sit here and tell me that you feared the Tampa Bay rushing attack so much that you had safeties.
What's even crazy about that? In week the first time we played Tampa was that week 7. Tom Brady saw Mike Evans running free on an island.
Yep. Doing
the ball, and he dropped it.
He dropped it that time.
So if I'm the coaching staff, I think, we're not going to let that happen again.
No more.
No, you let it happen three times.
3 times
in one game. Brandon says, who do we bring in for head coach? Hire for head coach Wilkes. Let's get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I want you to know that we are going to get to this question.
Yeah, because there's something that was discussed before the broadcast today, man. So.
Based on a report that we saw this morning.
Yep.
But let's get to the stats here. Sam Darnold actually played a great game.
Yeah, he did.
23 for 37, 341 yards, 3 touchdowns, a 1 pick. With a 108 passer rating. Didn't quite outduel Tom Brady, who had 432 yards.
Jesus Christ.
With 3 touchdowns.
34 for 45, man.
Yeah. But, there was one point in the game where he just got cooking.
He got hot.
And
But again, it goes back to comfortable. I mean, he got comfortable. He was just in the pocket, just doing whatever he wanted to do.
I got to put this on Al Holcomb.
I just
feel like you got to call better plays.
You got to make some kind of adjustment, man. A better one if you did. And I want to talk about Sam Darnold real quick, man, because I actually think at one point in the game, the trenches kind of let him down. But I will say that probably came to a point where we didn't run the ball as much as we should have. You know what I mean?
I'm wondering, yeah. I know that they thought, okay, our game plan is not going to be to run the ball because Tampa's going to stop it. And to be fair, whenever they did try and run the ball, Tampa was right there. Tampa's plan was to let Sam Darnold beat us. But does that mean that you just give up?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, because there was a lot of those plays, man, where, we're used to running the ball, hell, sometimes the first 2 downs a lot. And we didn't do that. We kind of shied away from that. So when you get in these 3rd and long situations against their defensive line, what you think's going to happen?
Despite that, I felt like offensively, the Panthers were mostly fine.
Yeah.
You scored 24 points against the Tampa Bay Bucks, you should win.
Right.
In fact, I always feel like you score 24 points against any NFL team, you should really win. Your defense didn't do its job.
Especially when you give up 20 points in the 4th quarter.
Yes, that's
kind of hard to overcome. Can't win like that.
And you let Mike Evans have
207 yards on 10 catches.
And even Chris Godwin, 9 catches for 120.
If you letting 2 receivers go over 100 yards, that give me the chances of winning when that happens.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now DJ Moore had a great game on our end. 6 catches, 117 yards, a beautiful 47-yard catch.
Go ahead and say it, man. I know you don't want to say the next guy who had a good game. I know it's painful.
I'm not gonna. No, we're gonna skip right. Chuba Hubbard had. All right, I'm just gonna say it because it would be remiss of me to not mention Shi Smith. There was a Shi Smith sighting. He had 4 catches for 70 yards
on 4 targets.
4 targets, and a touchdown. That's all we'll say about him. Everybody, I just feel like offensively, the Panthers were mostly fine. The fumble was bad.
However,
the interception was bad.
Here's a key stat we're not talking about. Deontay Foreman, 13 carries for only 35 yards.
He only averaged 2.7 yards a carry, too.
Yeah.
They were ready for him.
They were.
So,
but with that being said, you still don't abandon it like that, man. I still believe a couple of those first downs we should have been running.
I do think, though, the Panthers got in a situation, though, where running wasn't, especially because they got behind late.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So now you can't run anymore.
Right.
And when there was a point in the game in the 3rd quarter where the Panthers were up 4, and I think they were like, okay, we're going to start running the clock out.
Yeah.
The problem is that at that point, now you're being passive.
Yeah.
And we've seen what happens when you are passive against Tom Brady.
When you play to not win the game.
Yes, against Tom Brady.
Every time.
He's gonna win.
Every time.
He's gonna notice that and see blood in the water. He's gonna come right at you. And that's exactly what he did.
What happened?
Lesson learned by the coaching staff.
Who may not be here.
Let's talk about offensive MVP. I'm gonna go DJ Moore.
I'm also gonna go DJ Moore as well.
I could say Sam, but he had that pick.
Yeah, that DJ Moore was a game breaker, man. Yeah.
DJ Moore's the reason why we're in this. Defensive MVP,
I'm going Louvu. Louvu was all over the place today, man. Louvu got a big sack, man. We just didn't capitalize on it. He had a huge sack today. 13 tackles, man. 3 for loss.
Yeah.
Louvu
he had 10 solos.
Yeah, Louvu was balling today, man.
Brian Burns you could tell they kind of game planned Burns out.
But shout out to Yatur Gross Matos, who had a good game today.
And
man.
a field goal block. That's what I'm saying. I felt like everything was working right for the Panthers.
Yeah.
You block a field goal, you turn Tom Brady over, or you turn the Bucs over.
But just in certain spots, man.
And you couldn't capitalize on any of those. The Panthers did not score off of any of those turnovers.
Hey, man, I love Ike Ekwonu. I really do. I think he's a strong candidate for Rookie of the Year. But dude, giving up that sack fumble.
Oh, yeah.
Man. Bad timing, bro.
Yeah. He'll learn
pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I'm not coming down on that young man too hard because young man, he'll learn, like you said.
Golston is a tough assignment for him. I hope that he learned a lot from this game, and the coaching staff takes the opportunity to show him what he can learn. But speaking of coaching staff, a report came out today.
Interesting, and it came out today.
This is before kickoff that Ian Rappaport stated that sources told him that the Panthers are engaging on a full search for their head coach, and they are looking to interview offensive gurus. Just come out and say
you want Sean Payton.
Want Sean Payton.
Just say it. Just stop it.
Just come out and be like, we're going to look at Sean Payton. Which was funny because, Sean Payton is on the Fox.
Right.
He's on their discussion table team.
Yeah.
And whenever they would talk about
you saw that
coaching,
too.
I saw it too. They would talk about, Wilkes is putting himself in position to be the head coach. And Sean Payton's just kind of like, he can't say nothing, right?
Sean Payton's like, little does he know.
Sean Payton said on Colin Cowherd, this was
an attractive job.
Right. This was right after Matt Rule was fired.
Yeah.
He said that Colin Cowherd asked him if the Panthers were an attractive job, and he said yes. Now he could have. I expect Sean Payton's a professional, despite
his crap he's been
right.
through.
Yeah,
right.
But he's not going to come out and say, "Nah, man, I don't want to." Fuck. He's not going to say that like publicly on the air, right?
Right.
Reports came out later from sources supposedly close to him that he did not want the Carolina job. Okay. But
however,
David Tepper is the richest owner in the NFL.
Yep. And he's not he's not some guy on the internet just saying, he doesn't want the job.
David Tepper,
he will write a blank check, sir.
Yes, how much money? Because I feel like if Wilkes was going to be the head coach, he would have did it
by now.
Exactly.
Right. And as soon as I saw the title to this particular report, man, offensive gurus. I hate to be so final about this, but to me that signals the end of Steve Wilkes, dude. I hate to say that because we love Wilkes. I'm willing to bet most of the players want Wilkes around next season. I know most of the fans want Wilkes around next season, but this report to me, Kaza, signals Wilkes won't be the head coach next year. And if I know David Tepper like I think I do, and how he wants to make the splash all the time, David Tepper wants to make the splash. And there's no bigger splash to make than to hire him.
Sean Payton. Yep. Especially considering, in the NFC South, now he's gonna have to play the Saints twice a year.
The headlines, the spotlight is gonna be on Carolina. You think Tepper doesn't want all that?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Come on now.
Which is, I feel for Steve Wilkes because
he's deserving.
He deserves
to be a coach.
He deserves to be the coach of the team.
Right.
He has taken a team that
and I don't mean to cut you off, man, but it was said during the broadcast, man. We got to mention this again and again. Wilkes is a Charlotte guy through and through.
This makes me wonder if you don't make him the head coach, if you're Steve Wilkes, do you stay on with the team? You don't have a choice unless you get fired. Right. And I tell you this much. You can hire anyone else as the coach, but you better not fire Steve Wilkes.
You better not fire Steve Wilkes. You better keep him around in some capacity.
He got to, You
better something.
Somehow.
You better find a job for him.
Right, exactly.
And Steve Wilkes ambassador to the whatever or something.
Yeah. But it just makes me wonder then. Plus, I would hope, if he doesn't get this job, though, I would actually hope that other teams give him another look.
Absolutely. To be the head coach.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Regardless, I do think this. Steve Wilkes is going to have to make a really, really tough decision about Ben McAdoo and Al Holcomb.
Did you say tough decision?
Those. Al Holcomb. Anyway, that's kind of his. That's his guy, right?
Yes, I get it.
And like when Matt Rule left, Phil Snow's like, I'm out too.
Right.
So
no doubt.
If Steve Wilkes, though, I just don't think that defensively you can move forward without.
You got to get a more experienced coach, man. Because here's the thing: next season, I'm willing to bet Tepper's like playoffs or bust. I don't think we're going to go into next season like just full scale rebuild. I don't see that happening. So whoever your next guy is, I'm thinking you better get somebody who's already experienced. Not somebody you're rebuilding with. You know what I mean? So,
hey, this is a good question, Willie Smith. Have Panthers fans forgotten Bounty Gate? Oh boy! So,
you know what? Yes, I think they have actually.
So that was it's hard to believe that was so long ago.
Yeah,
that was 13, 14 years ago, which is crazy if you think about it. Because it doesn't feel like it was that long ago. All right. Plus, I watched a very recent mini documentary about Bounty Gate, and
they have a documentary on Bounty Gate.
Yeah, a lot of I
didn't know.
They should really do a 30 on 30 on Bounty Gate. I feel.
Oh wow.
But it was someone did a really good documentary on YouTube about it, and essentially Sean Payton didn't really. He kind of fell on the sword for the organization because he's the head coach, right?
Right.
And it would have looked even worse if this had been going on without his. You know what I'm saying? Like wow, you got this whole secret bounty thing going on, and you don't know about it.
Fight Club going on,
right? And I think he did know about it,
right?
But that was a defensive coach thing, and I think he just kind of felt like I'm gonna let Greg Williams do his thing,
and I'm gonna look the other way.
Blind eye. That's exactly what happened.
Right.
And then once the stuff got out,
he's the head guy.
He's the head coach, right? Someone's got to, and he can't just throw Greg Williams under the bus.
Let me say this: maybe Panthers fans have not forgotten about Bounty Gate, but you know what we have forgotten about? We've forgotten how good it feels to win. That's what we've forgotten about.
So if I felt like, and I do want to talk about this a little when we talk about the Hornets and Miles Bridges.
Yeah.
But if I felt like Sean Payton was like the orchestrator of Bounty Gate and was intentionally trying to hurt players, then I would feel different.
Right.
I don't feel quite that way. Greg Williams, on the other hand,
who was deliberately who really orchestrated the entire
thing.
We
heard the audio tapes. He's like telling his guys, hey, that dude, he's got a bad knee. Yeah. Y'all know what to do.
Right.
Oh, what the that's okay. That's a little different. But if Sean Payton were to come here and win, Bounty Gate is a distant
cares.
Memory. No. Now, if Sean Payton comes here and
loses, oh man. fans will start another documentary on
yes.
game.
There'll be a documentary on the riot at Bank of America Stadium.
But I want to say something, and I know we're kind of jumping ahead because there's long off season ahead of us, man. But I want to say it on camera too, man. Whatever happens with this coaching search, man, if Dave Tepper doesn't get this one right, bro.
The Panthers have a lot of decisions they have to get right.
Yeah, man.
Head coach, draft. Because y'all saw the Ohio State Alabama game. And
CJ Stroud jumped up in my book, man.
A lot of people had CJ Stroud attached to the Panthers ever since the McCaffrey trade, right?
Yep.
And now, here the problem is that now with the performance he gave last night, he may be out of the range for us, which looks like we may be picking in between 7th and 9th, depending on what happens. But he could be. A lot of people think that he will be in that range. Right. But after last night,
he might have really jumped up.
He might have jumped up there.
Top 5 now,
exactly.
Man. Right.
So I'll tell you this much: if he's available, you got to take a chance.
I can't.
Even though I do think the Panthers need to give Sam Darnold a shot next season, right? Well, he's on a contract.
He's on a contract,
but I don't just like draft a quarterback like a rookie and then say, "All right, Sam, you're backing this guy up. We're going to teach this rookie." That never happens in the NFL, by the way. Like Brett Favre came out and you talk. So when you were mentoring Aaron Rodgers, he was like, "No, I
didn't mentor nothing."
I don't want this guy to take my job. So, but you bring in a guy like CJ Stroud.
That Brett Favre is a swell guy.
Yeah, real stand-up dude.
Real stand-up dude.
Yeah. Should we try and draft Stroud? Yeah, I think so. If not though, if Stroud isn't available, and this is way too early to be talking draft, honestly. But did the Panthers go for a quarterback?
What I'm gonna tell you what I've been saying the whole time, man. Don't get off the hamster wheel and don't just draft a quarterback because you just feel like one's available. I'm going to say this again, man. If you don't believe the quarterback that you draft is going to be the next quarterback for the next 10 years of this franchise, just get BPA. Do not reach for a quarterback.
I agree.
Don't get – why have 2 Matt Corrals on the roster?
Exactly. We do still have Matt Corral. Why not just see what you got there?
Right.
If Bryce Young, who is certainly not going to be available, and then CJ Stroud is not available, then plus it's not like we're like good everywhere else. We could use some help.
There's still
secondary.
You
can still put another guy on the other side of Brian Burns.
Yep.
A lot of stuff there. Okay, real quick. Next week, Panthers play the Saints in a battle for not last place.
Not last place.
With the Atlanta Falcons winning today, essentially whoever loses
is in last place.
Is in last place next week.
Yeah. I expect the Panthers to play with some pride next week. Playing for nothing, this team ain't built like that. So Shaq Thompson, he's a part of what I think is that old guard of Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davidson and those guys. And those guys were never built like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think Shaq Thompson being the leader of this defense, man, he's not going to let them go out there and just dog it. So I'm going to pick us to win, even though it's a meaningless game. I'll pick us to win. I'm going to go 28-17. I think the defense plays well next week.
I think we win, but mainly because we're a slightly better team than the Saints are.
Yeah.
Slightly. And I think we win and mess up our draft position. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, you'll never say to the players, "All right, guys, we need you guys to not win."
Just go ahead and dog it.
That'll never happen. But like at this point, you can't make the playoffs. It's impossible. So winning is 100% detrimental.
Yeah.
So go figure.
Yeah. So that means we'll win.
That means we're gonna win.
Yeah.
All right. There's another professional sport in Charlotte, North Carolina.
The hits keep coming.
It is basketball.
Ooh, man.
And yeah. Okay, so the last time you guys talked to us, the day after Christmas, the Charlotte Hornets have played 4 games since then. Portland Trailblazers, Golden State Warriors, Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Brooklyn Nets.
Yep.
And our predictions were right. Yours were. No, we predicted them 2-2.
I said 2-2.
We both said 2-2.
Yeah, we both said 2-2.
We both said they beat Oklahoma City. We were kind of split on Portland and Golden State.
Yeah.
They did beat Oklahoma City, but the rest of those games, whew, painful to watch.
Painful. Let's talk about this Portland Trailblazers game first, buddy. You want to take a wild guess when the last time we won in Portland, Kaza? Want to take a guess if you don't know?
No, I know. I don't remember. It's 2006?
2008 is the last time we won in Portland.
When we had Steven Jackson? Jacking up threes?
Yep. That was the last time we won in Portland. 14 years. How you know what? I don't even want to talk about that.
Actually, I remember last season, on this very show, actually, it was like, hey, what centers should the Hornets try to go for in free agency or trade or whatever? Do you remember what I said?
Yeah. Yep.
Do you remember the name I kept saying?
Yusef Nurkic was that name that you kept saying.
And people were like, I can't believe
Nurkic.
Nurkic, what are you talking about? Do you want me or do you want to read off the stat line?
I will do you this service.
Nurkic stat line against
28-15. 28 points, 15 boards, 5 for 7 from 3.
6 assists and 3 blocks. People, he can't play defense. He can't play defense. We done.
How much does it suck that you hold Damian Lillard to 5 for 18 shooting and you still lose the game? And look, we're talking about Nurkic, which obviously he's the focal point of the conversation, but let's not forget Jeremy Grant went off for 32 and 10.
32 and 10.
So their front court dominated. That's domination. That front court completely dominated ours, dude.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, not a good game for. Although PJ Washington had a decent offensive game, 22 points. But
listen, let me tell you something. Jeremy Grant ate his lunch in his face.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of seeing PJ defend
all-stars all the time,
like all the good players.
Yeah.
We need something else. That's not working.
Hey man, let me start off my Hornets discussion by saying this, dude, and I've defended this man for a long time. Gordon Hayward, man, you gotta step up, bro. And I know he's just coming off.
You gotta step down and go out. Step off the court.
Step out.
Yeah.
Dude, there's too many bad shooting performances for me this week, man. Like this one particular game, he's 4 for 14 with 10 points.
You know what? I don't think he cares anymore. I don't think he gives a crap. He knows that he's probably gone. He's not gone with this team next season.
Right.
He's already, before the fractured shoulder or torn shoulder controversy, he had already stated that maybe he needs a change of pace. Then that happens, the misdiagnosis, and the Hornets like, oh, our bad. You actually broke your shoulder, dude. Our mistake.
And then his wife calls out the
he already got like $30 million. Would you care? I mean, let's be honest. No,
it's a good point. It's a really good point. If you feel like the franchise has kind of, but then again, Kaiser, hold on, time out. Time the hell out. Time the hell out. You're making $30 million a year, dude.
You know what though?
I get what you're saying. I do. I understand.
But the thing is he could have really gone anywhere. Yeah. And honestly, he
chose here.
He chose to come
Charlotte.
He
turned down more money to come to Charlotte.
Right? And then he comes here, and he's been very amicable with the team.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, he's
and let's be clear. The team has been very amicable with him through his injury history as well.
Well, they're not going to be very amicable when it comes for, time for his contract to come up. They're going to be like, the team's going to feel like, okay, you came here, but you didn't really play because you were injured,
right?
Which was really no fault of his.
Right.
But although, as I stated before, if you can't even give your players a proper health diagnosis, how could you possibly put injury issues on him? You're to that point. You're paying a guy $30 million a year, and you can't get
a diagnosis,
right? You can't. You can't. Oh, your shoulder's bruised. No,
Actually, you broke it.
It is broke. Dude.
Sorry, my bad.
Sorry. We've been rehabbing you all wrong. Now.
Okay. All right. So to get off Gordon Hayward a little bit,
yes, because he might get injured.
He might get injured again. So, but on the real, here's a bad trend I'm noticing here. Terry Rozier was also 2 for 17 that particular game, and Kelly Oubre was 5 for 15 this game. Do you know where I'm going with this? If those three guys shoot like that, it's very hard for this team to win. Yeah. If your scorers are not scoring efficiently every night, it's going to be really hard to win, man.
I'm going to give Oubre a little bit of slack because he's probably been the best player on the team over the last few weeks, besides LaMelo Ball.
Right.
But Oubre just missed his first game of the season the other night. I'll give him a little bit of slack. He's used to coming off the bench. Now he's playing starter minutes, like 38 minutes a game.
Right.
Okay, so
and we both agree he's better off the bench.
Right, yeah. So, I'll give him a little bit of slack there. Rozier? No.
2 for 17, buddy. Come on, man.
You got to find a way to score. 7 points.
Minus 26.
So, because if you can't defend, which Terry Rozier really can do, you got to be able to score. And you're not scoring, bro.
It's funny, man. You know who's been and I'm not saying he's been the best scorer, but you know who's been the most efficient scorer lately? You know who I'm about to say?
Mason
Plumlee.
Yeah.
Mason Plumlee's been the most efficient.
Okay, so let's before we talk about the other games, let's talk about that elephant in the room.
Yeah.
The center rotation.
Let's go, because we know it's a hot topic.
Mason Plumlee, Nick Richards, Mark Williams. Nick Richards went down with an ankle injury against Los Angeles.
Somebody came like a thief in the night, buddy.
And Mark Williams stole his damn job.
Stole it. It's mine. It's his.
And
it's his.
Clifford has even implied, well, Mark Williams can't go back to the bench now. Like, he can't.
He better not.
Right. We've seen how well he played, and even statistically, like from an average standpoint, it doesn't jump out at you. But anyone who watched those games can see the impact he makes as soon as he's on the floor,
Absolutely.
right?
Yep.
More so, I think, than Mason Plumlee and Nick Richards.
Because he's putting up these numbers, and like you look at the numbers he's putting up, and then you look at the minutes he's playing.
He's like 9 and 8 and 14 minutes.
14 minutes.
It's like,
right,
bro.
Right.
So, but now the question is,
what are you gonna do?
Nick Richards is actually he was a healthy scratch.
Yeah.
The night before last game, he played a couple minutes in garbage time.
He played garbage time minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
So some people feel like that's disrespectful, and the rotation should be.
No, it's not. It's the NBA. It's life.
People feel like the rotation. Some people feel like they should find a way to play all three centers, which I think is dumb. Some people feel like that they should start Richards and Williams come off the bench
and Barry Mason on the bench.
Right.
That's not happening.
And then some people feel like leave well enough alone because Mason Plumlee will likely be traded, and that will open up minutes for Richards.
I don't know if you remember me saying this, man, but fans want a 13-man rotation, and that's not how the NBA works, man. It's just not. There's going to be an odd man out, and that's just what it is, dude. And I know Mason Plumlee is low-hanging fruit, and he gets to pile on, which coming from someone who actually watches this stuff, I don't get it. Mason Plumlee has played very well this season, man. He really has. And again, I know he doesn't give us enough wow moments. We want him to be the big bad guy that knocks people down when they come to the lane and blocks shots and there's a big physical guy, which he's not. But that doesn't mean he doesn't do other things very well. The offense runs very well when he's out there. He does things very well. And I know fans don't want to hear it. They're denying it. They hate the guy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But he's starting for a reason.
There's only one reason. Let's be real.
Okay.
If his name was Mason Jackson.
Stop that.
Am I telling a lie? Am I telling a lie?
With that being said, I'll put it to you like this. I don't see how Mark Williams doesn't force Clifford's hand at some point.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I just don't.
Well, so Mark Williams is a better version of Nick Richards.
Right.
Neither Richards or Williams
Yeah.
is what Plumlee is.
Right.
Plumlee can do things that is debatable whether or not you want your center to be doing that.
Right.
And I'll concede that maybe in the scheme of what the Charlotte Hornets want to run, Plumlee might not be the best fit. Although I do think that our offense suffers a little bit when he's not
on the floor,
even with Mark Williams out there, right? But let's say you say, okay, well, you want a traditional defensive center, you know. Mark Williams is your guy.
He's your guy. No, there's no doubt about it.
Not Nick Richards, who, let me be fair here to Nick. He's played very well this season.
He's had a good season.
He's had a good season.
Yeah.
It took you 4 years to get here.
To figure it out, but
you got here.
I mean, he just started playing basketball like 5 years ago.
But still. But you got a guy who his first season is at the very least as good
as Nick Richards is now. Right.
How do you not continue to play and develop that guy?
Right.
I'm advocating for you start Mark Williams.
Yeah. But at the same, I put it to you like this, man. Trade deadline is going to be very interesting. And I think the Hornets should look at being sellers. And Plumlee needs to probably be toward the top of that list.
I thought about something, though. Plumlee will go into free agency.
Yeah.
Why would you trade for him if you're a team? You could just pick, if you really wanted him, you just pick him up in free agency.
That would be smart business.
Probably for cheaper than what you would pay now. His contract's not huge. It's not like you have this big expiring contract you want to dump off.
Right.
The teams that will want Plumlee will be like teams that want a vet center who could probably get him a double-double and has Plumlee's skill set.
The Nuggets. I can see him going back to
Portland.
Portland, yeah. Backup guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
But those are not, like, what are we going to get from those? Like, what could we get from Denver?
But what are we going to get from anybody? Let's be real. It's not like we're looking for a big haul. I mean, we basically want the guy traded just so Mark Williams
just start. Yeah, exactly.
That's all. We're not expecting assets to come back.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Which actually could make him very attractive in the trade market because I think the Hornets are going to pretty much give him away for mostly free.
Right. And I don't think anyone would have a problem with that at all.
Let's go back to the games. I do want to come back and talk a little bit about the trade deadline.
Hey. I want to talk about how frustrating this Golden State game was.
Boy.
You have a golden opportunity to get a road win.
Steph Curry gone.
Steph Curry's not there. Of course, Klay Thompson has throwback night because that's what guys like that do against the Hornets.
Who's gonna guard him? Who on the Charlotte Hornets? There's not a player suiting up for us now that can guard Klay Thompson.
But let me tell you why this loss was so frustrating. Because I felt like the whole game, the game was just waiting on us to take it. The game was just waiting on us to take control of this game, and we were just young, stupid, low IQ Hornets. I hate to be so strong when I say that, but that's what this game was. It was just us being stupid.
Outside of Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson, Golden State didn't They
didn't even shoot the ball that well.
Yeah, they didn't tear it up. So
LaMelo, there was a point in this game, Kaza, where the offense was really just kind of ragged. Like, we were not very organized in our offense, right? LaMelo Ball took a fadeaway three-pointer where he almost landed in the damn bench.
Hey, man, that's that man's swag. You just don't want to see that man shine.
I'm a hater. Is that it?
That you're a hater.
Yeah, okay.
He also shot 2 for 11 for 3. At some point, you got to stop shooting, right? Rozier was 1 for 6 for 3.
Gordon Hayward was 2 for 7. PJ Washington was 2 for 6. Yeah, buddy.
Jalen McDaniels was the only one that played well. Go figure.
That. But at one point, do you just run an offense? Because this is kind of reverting back to this one-on-one show that we see a lot.
I'm going to say something that's going to...
Say it, man. Say it.
Is this what giving the keys to LaMelo looks like?
It's a part of the process.
Because, see, when I see sometimes... I'm like, damn, why don't y'all just set up an offense?
Run an offense? Yeah.
Instead of just...
One-on-one guy?
Yeah, just LaMelo dribbling all around the court.
Yeah.
Just
and one mixtape.
And then he might make a great play.
He might not.
And he might not.
Or he might shoot a fadeaway 3-pointer that rims off and gives the other team a fast break basket.
Set up an offense. Like is Clifford pulling LaMelo aside and saying, okay, hey, here's our scheme and here's what we want to do. Let's run 2-man game.
I'm gonna steal the Stephen A. Smith soundbite. You're a damn point guard. Act like it sometimes. Yeah, man. I'm not. Here's the thing. LaMelo has played very well from a statistical standpoint. Right.
Like if you didn't follow the Hornets and you look at LaMelo's stat line since he's come back from injury, you'd be like, yo.
But the decision making sometimes.
But when you actually watch the games, you'd be like, yo,
what are you doing? And look, man, I don't mean to pile on LaMelo Ball because it ain't just him. Because Terry Rozier can get a lot of this smoke too, with bad shot selection and bad defense. And this game in particular, man, I tweeted this. I said, if I had to sum up this Hornets loss with this game, it's just low IQ basketball.
It's just funny
and I hate losing that way.
Because all the things that James Borrego said, like, are now more obvious.
Hey, man, I didn't say it.
I'll say it. Like James Borrego, he tried to tell us. These guys can't play defense and they take dumb shots. He was more nice about it, but in the play-in game where they got blown out, that he essentially said that. Like, you could tell he just wanted to say, look, I could tell these guys to the blue in the face, play defense and take smarter shots, but they're just not going to do it. And so they bring in Clifford, and it's weird. At the beginning of the season, didn't it seem like the Hornets were listening to Clifford?
It really did. They looked like a different team at the beginning of the season.
And then really something just happened where they were just like, we're just gonna. Maybe somebody came back. Well, Hornets did get a win out of they beat Oklahoma City and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who had a great game.
He's a baller, man.
He's a baller, and a lot of people are still upset that we traded him away to get essentially Miles Bridges and Devontae Graham. I'm not mad at that. I think it worked out great for all parties involved. That was actually a really good win for Charlotte. I know Oklahoma City isn't like a great team, but the Hornets looked like they were ready to give it away late and made some big plays in order to close it out, which is always important.
Yeah.
My only gripe is that, they just didn't play any defense.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, man, when you play another team that's not playing defense, either they can suck you in and not playing defense and kind of turn it into a shootout. And that's what this was. It was a shootout. I mean, the last quarter, we scored 36 points to their 29 points. You know what's funny? Now that we're talking through it? That's the Hornets' identity right there. Yeah. If you wanted to say, hey, what are the Hornets? That's it there.
I'm telling you, Borrego he knew. We say it all the time. He knew that these guys couldn't play. He did not have the roster to play defense.
You can't play defense without two-way guys.
Yes, you know what I'm saying? You got to have defenders, right? He didn't have no defenders, so he's like, except Cody Martin,
right?
Which is why Cody Martin, man, why Martin playing over Monk? Well, now we know why, right?
Right.
So, he was like, these guys can score though, so that's what we're gonna do. And it was a game where we just outscored the other team.
Hey, man, PJ Washington, great game, man.
Great game.
10 for 13.
He watches the podcast. He knew
he heard
LaMelo Ball had a great game, too. 5 for 10 for 3, 27, 9 and 10.
Almost a triple-double.
Almost, although he tried really hard to get it at the end of the game.
Yeah. You could tell he was
Stop doing that.
Stop. Just win the game, man.
Yeah. But you know who else had a great game? Mark Williams.
Yeah.
This was kind of his breakout game. 17 points, 13 assists. 17 points, 13 rebounds, 2 blocks, 7 for 7 shooting.
21 minutes.
In a mere 21 minutes.
That's dominating the game.
Now, a lot of people are like, well, it was against Oklahoma City.
So?
Yeah. They NBA team, right?
They ain't playing the NBA too.
They play in the league, right? So.
Terry Rozier was 3 for 11 again. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's just skip the last game because we sucked in that game too.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, it's the Brooklyn Nets
who have won 11 in a row.
Yeah,
now.
It's like we saw this the last time we played Brooklyn. Kevin Durant's like, All right, time for me to go to work. And he gets off the bench and he just scores 12 straight points and that's it.
Hey, I promise I'm not going to turn this into a Brooklyn Nets podcast. But real quick though, I want to say something about the Brooklyn Nets, dude. Right now, the national media there is Boston, Milwaukee. Every time you hear the national media talking about who's coming out the Eastern Conference, it's Boston, Milwaukee. Y'all better watch out for them Nets.
And we know the Nets. They love sandbagging.
Listen, I think that coaching change made the entire difference, dude.
Mm-hmm.
They look like a different team right now, dude.
Completely new team.
I'm saying this because I want to be that team one day. And I'm not talking about just the star power. We know Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving are ballers. We know that. But the way that they're playing now, they're playing defense now.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
So, yeah, and I wasn't expecting the Hornets to win that game, so I'm not even going to.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about.
Yep, let's go.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute. I want to talk about why does everyone think that Kelly Oubre needs to be traded?
That's just head scratcher to me. That is so. He doesn't have an albatross contract.
Nope.
He's probably one of the most improved players in the NBA this season, if we're keeping it a buck.
Yep.
Coming off the bench, it doesn't get much better than Kelly Oubre.
Yep. He's going to give you 16, 17. He's fairly consistent.
More consistent than he has been.
Yep. He's available. He's only missed one game this season. And I think he likes being here. We talked about this a few weeks ago, but he had that project with Marcus Kaiser, which I need to go to the fan store and buy that stuff. It looks really dope.
Doubt, man.
But to contact a Charlotte artist and come up with how many players do that at their cities? If they're not, they're
not invested in the team in the city like that.
I feel like he's more happy here than LaMelo Ball is.
Ooh, man,
because LaMelo Ball said something that it's hard to read NBA players.
Yeah, because they're temperamental. Let's be real.
But after we beat Oklahoma City, we got to win, right? Should be happy, right? And Ashley asks him, how good does it feel, to get a win at home in front, be back from the road in front of his fans, your teammate getting a win.
Right.
And his response was very deflective.
Right.
You would expect him to say, man, it feels good to come back and get a win in front of these fans. He didn't say that.
Right.
He was like, I'm happy to just be living and doing what I love doing.
Right. That's a weird response.
Very odd response.
Yeah.
And given that, these reports are coming out, they've been coming out since the day he signed with us that he's not happy here. I would imagine he's probably not happy here. Why would you be happy playing for the second worst team in the league?
You're losing right now.
You're losing, right?
I mean, even though a lot of that stuff
is your own fault. But
whatever.
Having said that, Kelly Oubre, though, I get the opposite.
Yeah.
So why do fans want to trade him?
I don't get it. I don't get. Again, let me say this again, man. As far as having a guy like Kelly Oubre coming off your bench, it just doesn't get much better than that. We're not talking about a guy who's making $20 million a year either. You know what I mean? And as far as getting assets back, you probably can get the same back from a guy like Terry Rozier, because I guarantee you a contending team wants a Terry Rozier.
I feel like you could Hayward, Rozier, and Plumlee.
Yeah.
You can move those guys, re-sign Oubre at the end of the season, and still be good.
Yeah.
With whatever this upcoming Miles Bridges deal is. So let's just go ahead and talk about it.
Oh God, man.
So
oh boy.
We talked about this a little last week, in which reports came out that the Hornets are gaining traction with Miles Bridges, but it's essentially all but a done deal that he's going to be back with the Charlotte Hornets,
which I expected the entire time. Honestly.
So of course that has caused a ton of debate.
Yeah. People canceling season tickets.
About ethics and whatnot.
Right.
I think it's an interesting debate. It's nuanced. It's something that should be discussed.
Yeah.
Hold up. Let me rewind here. They want Oubre out to make room for Book. Let me look in the camera and say this so y'all know I'm serious.
You take this one, man. Please. Man, please.
If this is you, if you're one of these people that Wagner's talking about, stop it. Get some help. Michael Jordan video.
Yeah,
stop
it.
Get some help. This is another thing where, like, when Borrego wasn't playing Book Night, people couldn't figure out why.
Right. And then now you see why.
Now you see why. Remember, same thing with Malik Monk, man. Why Cliff won't play Monk? And then
now he's not here.
Borrego's not here, and he wouldn't play Monk. It's almost like the players. It's issue with the players.
No, it can't be. Can't be. It's easier to blame management, and no, Kaiser, it can't be the players.
Right. Never the players.
Never. Mm-mm.
Okay, but let me go back to Miles Bridges.
I'd rather make room for Bryce McGowan.
I'd take Bryce McGowan's right now.
I don't understand why he's
over
in Greensboro right now, but we digress. Go ahead, man. Sorry.
I mean, Taylor Maladone's doing at least as good as Book Night was doing, right? Pretty
much better.
Trade Book Night.
This time.
All right. So, but back to Miles Bridges. I feel like this is a conversation that we shouldn't shy away from.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'll say this. Everyone does deserve a second chance. I do believe that. I also believe, however, that lines can be drawn.
Yeah.
Okay. And some things cross those lines.
Yeah.
And what I need fans to do, to stop doing, is equating domestic violence to other stuff. We've all made mistakes. Y'all want to know the worst thing? Y'all want to know the worst thing Kaiser Associated ever done?
Yeah, I do.
I defended a friend of mine from a crackhead. I beat up a crackhead once. That was the worst. That's now. I'm not saying I'm like an angel. I mean, right. I've done some other things that are lower than that. But when I think, man, what's the worst thing I ever did? That's probably it. I beat up a crackhead because he was trying to rob my friend. Right.
The point is that
that's not nearly as bad as beating your wife in front of your kids. Now, I know that there's a lot of debate about
what led up to that, or what happened,
the details of the altercation.
And look, man, let me just be, what's the word I'm looking for? Candid. Michelle Johnson's character has been assassinated.
Yes.
I'm not here to tell you what's true and what not and what's not. I don't know these people personally, but I know her character has been assassinated. You know what I mean? People have tried to almost excuse why Miles Bridges would do that, which is fucking terrible. I'm sorry to use language, but come on now. Because at the very least, you're not smart in that situation. At the very least. At the least, you walk away if you're that mad or whatever.
I feel like athletes, we hold them to these greater standards, and I feel like we should.
Right.
Because professional athletes live the dream.
They do.
They get paid millions of dollars.
Their lives, let's be clear, their lives are just better than most people.
Exactly. Miles Bridges on his worst day would never trade places with Kaiser
or Jamal Darby.
Yes, never. So I feel like if you're an athlete, you have to understand to not put yourself in those situations. First of all, you're 6'6", 6'7", 230 pounds,
you can
right?
Start there.
Yeah. There, unless homegirl pull a gun, which even then I'm running. I'm not even.
Which was reported that she did not.
Right. Yeah. Then I don't understand. Like
you walk away.
Wait. Yes.
Walk away.
You let the legal system do. Like he got a restraining order against her at one point after that altercation.
Right.
Why didn't you do that before, bro?
Right.
Like you got to realize that there are levels to this. So he did what he did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why he did it in the details, I don't care.
Yeah.
He did that.
He did it.
So
and he officially has a conviction. Let's be clear about that.
Well, I don't know.
Or
he has a charge.
I'm sorry. Okay? My apologies. Let me be clear. Sorry about that.
But so now what the Hornets have to do is the perception.
The reclamation project
is going to have to be huge if he's going to stay on the team. A lot of people think it's going to be a sign and trade situation.
I don't see that. Sorry.
Maybe I could see that.
I stand pat to what I've been saying the whole time. I think the Charlotte Hornets want Miles Bridges on.
I agree. No, I think they do too. Plus, sign and trades with restricted free agents are very rare in the NBA. They almost never happen. Right. So, I think that.
I'm telling you, listen. That apology tour is gonna have to start.
But
man.
See, it can't be just. You have to do the work.
Yeah, you do the work, right?
When people do things that are when they've wronged a person or a community,
right.
I feel like in this case, Miles Bridges has wronged the entire franchise and Charlotte Hornets fan base.
Oh, exponentially.
Yes, his actions had a domino effect on the franchise and the future of the franchise.
Not basketball operations. It affected that. It affected the cachet of the franchise. It affected this franchise exponentially.
Yes.
I mean, on a lot of different levels, man. So I better see some big time accountability.
You need to be like at like the Women's Help Center.
Seriously, doing
work. Like you need to. I need to see, and it has to be sincere. It can't just be like this PR.
Look, don't pull out some written note. And I apologize to everyone I have affected in the community. No.
I don't want to see you in rap videos talking about bitches or nope, that's gone. You can't
do that anymore,
bro. First of all, you weren't even a great rapper.
You suck as a rapper.
But you certainly can't do that anymore.
No.
If you're gonna make rap songs with Terry Rozier, terrible songs with Terry Rozier. If y'all haven't seen that video, go watch it. But that's fine. But you cannot say the things that you were saying about women in those songs.
And all of this speaks to this bigger issue of this immaturity that we saw coming last season.
No. Borrego he just didn't want to see him guys shine.
Right, of course. But just last season, we saw these immaturity kind of sneaking through the cracks. You know what I mean? And now that it's blown up, I hope everybody's kind of seeing what we've been saying about this roster now. And now we're going to get to a point. Miles Bridges wrecked the offseason basketball-wise, okay? So now the Hornets are going to have to do the work, not only just the reclamation project for Miles Bridges, but now they're going to have to do the work with the damn roster now, because that's how much it's affected everything. So
I do think I think the Hornets can fix this.
Yeah.
I really
it's going to take some work, but
and what they do in this year's draft is this might be the most important draft in Charlotte Hornets history.
I feel like we say that a lot.
But you got to get it right this time.
Yeah.
Because
so much went bad last season.
Because I don't want LaMelo. So there's another thing I want to discuss with fans is the idea that LaMelo Ball may force his way out. LaMelo Ball will be a restricted free agent. Let me explain to you how the process works with rookies that are restricted free agents.
Okay? Hey, you turning down $20 million to go anywhere else?
Nope.
Okay.
Actually, and here's the thing. If the Hornets decided they didn't want to play, you wouldn't play anywhere. You wouldn't be just turning down $20 million. You wouldn't make any money
anywhere
for a season plus.
Unless you just pull a Danny Ferry I'm going overseas.
If you turn down so you get made a qualifying offer, which the Hornets will make, which for the LaMelo Ball will be very low. It'll be something like $7 million, $8 million, right?
And that'll be turned down.
Right. Well, no, he'll probably accept it. If you accept it, then you can still accept offers from other teams, right. But that just gives the Hornets the right to match, right?
Yeah.
If he turns down, he can turn down the qualifying offer and then just choose not to re-sign with the Hornets, but he won't play.
Right.
Or he accepts the qualifying offer and then chooses not to take the Hornets extension offer, and then he has to play for the Hornets for one season under that qualifying offer deal, and then he becomes an unrestricted free agent. Those are the ways that LaMelo Ball has to force his way out of Charlotte. All of them result in him losing money or time played. Do you really think LaMelo Ball, who drives a neon highlighter Lamborghini, is going to turn down? Plus, the Hornets are the only team that offer a max.
And not to mention, if we continue this trajectory of as far as how we're not winning, I'll leave it at that. The draft gets really interesting. I'll just put it.
It does.
I'll just put it.
I do think this though. So let's say LaMelo Ball gets his rookie extension, max deal, which he probably will, and the Hornets get better.
Right.
Then I don't think LaMelo will be happy.
Yeah,
he'll be fine.
Right.
All right. Now,
and at that point, his boy's back.
Right.
Which I think matters a lot.
A lot. And we've said this.
Yeah.
If the Hornets fail to build a solid contending team around LaMelo Ball,
then he should leave.
Right. how long that should take, I at least until I'd say the middle of his rookie extension. So that would be like his sixth year in the league.
But let me say this again, Kaiser. This offseason, this past one, was supposed to be the jump season for the Hornets.
It was, yeah.
And Mr. Miles Bridges wrecked that.
You messed that up. No. It's Mitch's fault because Mitch didn't do anything.
Mitch didn't make any moves.
Even though, he didn't even know how much money he could spend because we didn't know what was happening.
That doesn't matter.
NBA teams have budgets, not just
salary
caps. Yes,
yeah,
they have operating expenses and budgets that they have to follow.
No, they don't. Michael got all the money you need.
That's right. He got shoe money.
He got shoe money.
My bad.
He don't got no budget. What are you talking about? That's not the what. Hey, you don't play enough 2K, Kaiser.
Oh, this is 2K.
We have Kevin Durant. And
we just need Victor. I was thinking about this earlier. I was thinking about the New Orleans Pelicans. In a decade, they got two essentially franchise changing players.
But you know what? It all came from Anthony Davis.
Yeah, well, they got Anthony Davis, and then to not build a team around him and let him go,
right?
And really they got nothing for him.
No. That's the Brandon Ingram trade. They got something for him.
Oh, that's true. They did get Brandon.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. But still, I mean, they Brandon Ingram is not Anthony Davis.
No.
Okay, as good as he is.
Yeah.
But then you get Zion too. Why not us? Why not us?
Because we don't have that kind of luck.
Why can't we get Victor?
Because God hates Charlotte. That's why. That's why, man.
See, so we can't have the worst record in the league. The worst record in the league rarely gets the number one pick. So it's only happened 6 times in history.
Right, so we need to be around
like the 5th worst. Right. That's what we need to be.
That's what we need to be.
And look, I hate sports.
I know Victor is the hot topic amongst fans. I don't like talking about it, and I hate the whole discussion
because it's not gonna happen.
Because I don't want to let down.
Yeah,
Kaiser, listen to me right now. I was in the arena the day where they did the draft lottery, not the draft, but the draft lottery. You know what I'm talking about when they turn the cards around.
I remember seeing the look on Rich Cho's face.
You should have saw the look on my face. I had something in my hand and I slammed it on the ground as hard as I could. And these people look at me like I was crazy, but I can't take that kind of pain anymore. I don't want to talk about Victor anymore because I'm just like, I'm not setting myself up for that disappointment. I'm doing it. Nope.
I think everyone needs to realize that even if the Hornets had the worst or one of the 3 worst records in the NBA, because they've changed the lottery system to where the 3 worst records all have the same odds, 14%. That literally means you have an 86% chance of not getting him. So, don't get your hopes up.
No, I'm not getting my hopes up. Man, please.
Don't get your hopes up. I'm a Canes fan until the Hornets win another game.
Hey, man, we got to do predictions for next week, man. I know we got to wrap it up, but.
Oh, God.
Yeah, what we got next week? What kind of pains?
Y'all, you don't even want me to read this shit off.
No, let's go. Nope. Let's go.
Lakers, Grizzlies, Bucks.
Oh, my God. That's the 3 games we got.
And then we play the Pacers.
Next week at 5.
Yes.
Yeah, on Sunday.
0-4. We don't win any of those games. We don't beat Los Angeles again. Not if LeBron James. He remembers last week.
He's very petty when it comes.
It is a home game, but he loves.
Is it really a home game?
Yeah, that's true. And he loves playing in Charlotte because Michael's probably going to be at that game.
Yep.
And LeBron James always loves showing off for Mike.
Yep.
Memphis, they're just flat out better than we are.
Yeah. Bucks.
We can't ever stop Giannis.
And even when we keep it close with the Bucks, the referees always decide, we can't let the Hornets beat the Bucks.
And the Pacers are better than us. We could
squeeze out a win there, but I wouldn't bet on it.
We could maybe.
They beat us pretty handily last time in Charlotte. That was on my birthday. Thanks for nothing, guys.
I mean, they're a playoff team. We're not. They should win that game.
Look, I'll just for the hell of it, I'll pick us to win against the Pacers. So I'll go.
Why is up with this schedule, man? For January, I'm going to read out January.
Yeah.
Lakers, Grizzlies, Bucks, Pacers, Raptors twice in a row, which is dumb.
That's dumb.
Both games in Toronto. Boston twice in a row at Charlotte. One of those games is NBA TV. Houston, finally. Then Atlanta, Utah, Phoenix, Chicago on TNT, and then Miami and Milwaukee to end it.
Good gracious. I hope we win 2 games this month. I mean, from next week, but yeah.
LaMelo Ball is going to be – he gone. He'll trade himself. Swagner says Giannis may be out, though.
Oh, that's good.
That's gonna make a difference.
I think the last time they didn't have Giannis, they kicked our ass. I think they blew us out the last time we played them and they didn't have Giannis. So
I don't know. We'll see if Mark Williams is starting by then. We could.
You're holding out some hope, huh?
I know. Y'all, I've been on the Mark Williams train since draft night.
Yeah.
So, and I like Duke.
Absolutely not.
Hate him, but I could see that guy was gonna be
good. You know good players when you see him.
I was like, that guy's gonna be ready for the NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like he is. So, all right. Any quick shout outs?
Do I have any shout out? Shout outs to Charlotte sports fans. I don't know what else to say. Just hang in there. It's just year after year. Just it feels like Groundhog's Day every year with the Charlotte sports teams. It really does.
I'm a 49ers fan now, so I don't know what you're talking about. By the way, the 49ers are tied with the Raiders with 4 minutes left in the fourth. McCaffrey has 121 yards rushing.
Of course he does. Glad it's being used properly now. Matt Rule, you. Anyway. No more. I don't have any shout outs or shout outs, man.
I'm just going to shout out. I just want everyone to have a good new year. I know that a lot of people, feel like nothing changes from year to year, and that may be so. But if you want to personally view it as a springboard to change,
you be the change.
Then by all means, then be the change that you want to see.
Absolutely.
So whatever goals that you weren't able to accomplish last year, wipe the slate clean and get it done this year. So
thanks, man. I needed to hear that. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I need to hear it for myself.
Yeah, man. I
have goals especially for under construction, man. I have these ideas that I really want to do for under construction. So we'll see if we can't take it to the next level.
Because we have too much fun doing this, man. Somebody should join in the fun with us, bro.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, Charlotte FC starts back soon. They will make the playoffs this year. That's what Joshua says.
I think so. No, I'm with that. Yeah. Not coming from not the soccer expert here, but I believe that as well.
Don't let them.
Don't let the damn new soccer team come in and be the darlings of Charlotte sports. The Panthers y'all should be ashamed of yourself
if Charlotte FC makes the playoffs
before the Hornets
of the Panthers.
Oh my God. I just got more depressed. Thanks, guys. Shout out to the under construction fans. Y'all are the best.
Yes.
Y'all are really the best.
Love you guys. We love you guys.
Seriously, man.
So hopefully you hear our lovely voices again next week. Y'all have a good one. Peace.
Peace out.